Okay guys, gonna give you a demo of the Trio versus the BeatBuddy here. This is gonna be a little bit more detailed than what we did on the podcast. I want to show off all the genres, as many of the styles as I can, and just show you kind of the general features of the Trio, and then show you the the features of the BeatBuddy, so you can really get a feel of what both pedals are capable of. There's some extra stuff on the Trio and the BeatBuddy that I'm not gonna get into. The BeatBuddy has an extra foot switch. I'm not going to plug that in and mess with it on this demo. I'll do a demo in the future of just the BeatBuddy where I include that. The Trio has these parts where you can kind of set different parts up for to build your song. You need to have the foot switch, I think, to do those. So I'm not going to mess with it at all. But let's get started. I'm going to start with the Trio. I'll load in a chord progression and then kind of jam with it and mess around with some of the settings. Alright, now let's jump around to check out some of the different styles. Basically, when you play chord progression, it figures out like what your time signature is and what the progression is, and if there's something within the style wheel of that genre that will fit to it. And it'll show you in the green lights everything that will fit within what you played. So right now it selected 7 because it thought that was most compatible. Let's see the other settings. That's pretty funky. It's under the rock genre. This is the one I would probably choose. I like stuff that's more straight ahead and has that boom, 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 boom. I like that. It's nice. They all kind of have the same like bass line. Let's see what one of the orange ones sounds like. I don't know, I think that sounds fun. It says it's not compatible, but whatever. If you can jam with it, then why not? I guess there's some extra settings here. Interesting. Alright, let's try some of the other genres. Here's that chord progression with country. R&B settings. I like the R&B settings. There's not enough good R&B around lately. Let's check out the jazz. This chord progression apparently not very compatible with jazz. But I like the jazz settings on here. There's some fun stuff to mess around with. I think that the bass on the jazz settings is a lot of fun to play around with. Just because it kind of tells you what to do, basically. And jazz is not my normal go-to genre. So it's nice to have something tell me what to do. Alt rock is an interesting setting on here because from what I understand, most of it is reggae settings. Like you think of alt rock and you think, the 90s, and that's just not what's going on. It's alternative to rock, but not alternative rock, if that makes sense. Pop has some neat stuff. And lastly, but not least, blues. Not super compatible with what I played, obviously. So I'll show you, there's this guitar effects button here. I already have a little bit of drive on my guitar signal here. But this gives you two different levels of guitar effect. See, it's got a little bit more drive on it. And there's one more setting. That's a neat extra little thing if you just want to have this thing around in an amp and have a little bit of extra options for jamming. A decent sounding 2 drive option there to kind of spice up what you're doing. Also, there's an alt time button here. It gives you an alternative to the time you're playing. It kind of sounds like a halftime thing to me. So if you need a halftime part in your song, that's there. I'm assuming you can access that with the external foot switch that is available for these things. I think it's like a 3-button sort of deal where it allows you to kind of record your parts more and be more expressive with this thing, because it's pretty simple to use. It's really straightforward. I didn't have to read the instructions at all to get going on this thing. I just figured it out. So as far as ease of use, this thing's really great. I don't know if I would trust this thing for live playing or even for songwriting, which is what I said on the podcast, just because it can be really unpredictable. I've only loaded 1 chord progression in here, but if you play with it enough, you'll find that sometimes you play something and you've got a really set sound in your head of what you want to happen with it. And once it deciphers it, it does something completely different. It's not something you can plan for. You can tweak stuff as much as you want, but it's like the bass lines are set. So if you have a bass line in your head that you want to go with drums, then you basically have to connect this up with a looper pedal and record the drums and then put in your own bass line to work with that, which is something you could do with a BeatBuddy anyway. So, if that's what you want to do, then this probably isn't the pedal for you, because as you can hear, the bass line is just what it is, you're limited to the styles. All right, so let's turn that off, and we'll start going through the BeatBuddy. All right, we'll start off with the rock setting here, and the BeatBuddy it's only got the one foot pedal, but it's got multiple functions, and I'll show that as we go along. It's got your basic controls for the volume of the drums. You can select drum set and tempo. Both of these things are buttons that allow you to get into your menus here, as well as these buttons allow you to get into your menus and navigate the screen, which is really easy to navigate, by the way. It's another thing, you don't need to read the directions. You plug this thing in, you can figure out what to do right away. So to get it started, you press this once, and it's going to go into an intro and then play the song. The BeatBuddy is really much more optimized as a live playing tool and as a songwriting tool, in my opinion, where the Trio is just kind of like a jamming tool. Just for, you know, if you want to know what it's like to play with other musicians, or you want to jam in your basement when there's no one else around, I think the Trio is a solid option. But if you're looking to play live and write music, I think the BeatBuddy is the clear choice. And I think that will be pretty apparent as I go through it. So I'm going to start this up and jam a little bit and then go through the features. As much as 3 fills, as many as 3 fills on each song that's available in these. And then you hold it down and you get into a transition, and it'll play as long as you hold it down. So if you need a long transition, you can get it, and it goes to the next part, which is an alternate of the first part. And then if you need another transition, it can be as quick as you want, back to the first part. Then you want to stop the song, double tap, and it plays the outro. So you can really navigate a bunch of different parts while you're using this thing in a really easy way. If you're using the foot switch, the extra foot switch, you can trigger. I'll just plug it in right now. You can trigger some little accent sounds. Most of the time it's a cymbal, sometimes it's a clap, or like a little wood block or something like that, depending on what drum kit you're on. This button operates as a pause function, which can be very useful in your song if you need to pause everything. So let's start that. And then you have a pause. Maybe you can keep it going with the cymbals, but if you have a rest in your song, that can be very useful. So that's that's good to know that function is there. Let's go through some of the genres. I'm not going to be able to go through everything that's in here like I did kind of with the Trio, just because there's so much. I mean, just in the rock section, there are 14 songs, and then in total, there are 22 song folders of genres in this. And you can actually upload more. You can download the editing software and make your own songs. You can download other people's songs that they've made. If you're creative with MIDI, you can write your own stuff, basically. So you can sequence all your own drums and get them in here. Have it be whatever you want it to be, basically. This is just basically a tool to hold the software of this drum stuff. I know I sound like a lay person, but I'm a guitarist, not a drummer, so it's kind of it is outside of my area of expertise, obviously. But let's go through some of the folders here. There's blues. 10 blues options. Brazilian has your bossa novas, sambas, all kinds of stuff I can't pronounce. Brush beats, all kinds of stuff in all sorts of different time signatures. And that's really the thing with the trio. You have 4/4 and you have 3/4. Those are your two time signatures, really. Unless alt time is something else that I'm not remembering. But that's all you get. With this, there's all kinds of stuff. I'll go back to brush beats. There's 3/4, 5/4, 7/8. You know, all kinds of stuff. Country, bunch of country patches. Drum and bass. I haven't looked through that one yet. Let's play drum and bass 8. That's interesting. Got funk. Straight 16ths. Need a wah pedal for that one. Hip hop. Bunch of hip hops. Oh, that sounds fat. Sheesh. Jazz, like I was saying. All kinds of different funky settings in here. 7/4, 5/4. Up swings, down swings, whatever. Medium swings. Sounds like jazz to me. The neat thing about this is, you know, say you do have a band and you have a drummer. He only plays in a specific style. You want to brush up on your different styles to play along with. You've got this guy here to mess around with to kind of, I guess with the trio too, but these tools are neat to kind of brush up on things that you're not maybe familiar with. Maybe we've got mambo, all kinds of bamba, plena, calypso. I did calypso on the Periscope, and that was a lot of fun. Let's see if we can get something going with this. At the risk of embarrassing myself, I won't go much farther on that, but that was a lot of fun. Marching band stuff. So, you know, you want to practice along with a marching band at home? Why not? Metal's interesting. You want all your double bass? It's all in here. Let's try metal 12. It's one more than 11. Yeah, double bass. Plenty of options there for you metal guys. Odd time signatures. 7/4, 7/8, 9/4, 9/8, 7/8, 6/8 feels like 3/4. I'm not smart enough musically to wrap my head around that sort of stuff. Oldies, I'm a surf rock guy. The thing that really sells me on the BeatBuddy over the Trio is the options for things like this, where I can write surf songs around oldies patches. I can also write surf songs around the punk patches. There's no punk patches really in the Trio. So this is a really big deal for me to have access to stuff like this. 6 oldies options, which is great. I'll show you the pop real quick. Pop 8s. And then let's go straight to the punk. And then the punk is a lot of fun. This is, for my surf band, this is kind of in the neighborhood that I would write off of. So I'm pretty excited about this. Yeah, you can see why I would be happy about that. It fits with my surf rock kind of feel, but it's also punk rock, so I could do punk rock stuff with it. I can't go through all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I already showed you rock. There's R&B, there's reggae, there's techno. Beatbox is fun. World has a lot of neat options. You got your tangos, you got your polkas, you got your waltz, you got your Spanish rumba. You know, kind of some really fun stuff to play around with in there. Metronome, you want a simple metronome? You've got it. It's in there. You know, all this extra stuff is really the bread and butter that kind of strikes down the Trio. The Trio is just what it is. It's just a program that kind of detects what you're playing and tries to match with it for jamming. You can't count on it to give you, you know, a solid, say, tango or a Serbian ethno. You're not going to get that from the Trio at all. The techno is a lot of fun. There is kind of the pop setting on the Trio that kind of gets you there, but come on, like, check this out. Oomst, 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 oomst. How fun is that? I mean, it's going to be a guilty pleasure for a lot of us guitarists, but, you know, you bring that to a party, you plug that into the sound system, it's like you're an instant DJ. Everyone's going to love you. You're going to be everyone's best friend, life of the party. I don't have much else to say about this. It's so straightforward. It's so easy to use. The Trio is pretty easy to use too, but I feel like the BeatBuddy is just a much more musical option. So my recommendation goes to the BeatBuddy. I'm not saying don't get the Trio. Just be prepared for what it will not and will do. You know, be an informed consumer. If you want something that makes some simple bass lines for you to jam with, why not the Trio? You can get them used. I got mine used for $140. The BeatBuddies, they retail for $300, I think. I don't know what the used market is. I think they hold up pretty good on used market, so it might be worth it just to get them new. And also, I really recommend getting the foot switch if you get one. It really fills out your experience there. I can't speak for the foot switch for the Trio, but look it up. You're an informed consumer. You can figure it out. All right, thanks for watching, guys.